Do you want to grow? If you're a Christian, I think that's one of the most common desires you will ever have. I want to grow. I want to build a relationship to Jesus. I want to grow up to be more like him. Well, today I want to give you one tip that will change the way you grow. And that is, before you can grow up, sometimes, actually always, you've got to get down. In Matthew 7, Jesus describes two different men in a parable of the foundations. And it's one man who built his house on a rock and another man on the sand. But here's one thing I missed until the other day. Is both men heard the word of God, but it's the one who obeyed it that was wise. Both men heard that they wanted to build a house. They wanted to build something. They wanted to make something bigger. They wanted to build a relationship to God. They wanted to build a place to live in. And yet it was what they built on that determined the outcome. One stood the test of time and the other fell in a matter of time. And what it came down to was how they took time before they built. You see, the man who built on the sand was not building in the wrong location. He just wasn't building deep enough. Sand is everywhere, but underneath the sand, if you dig down deep enough, there is a bedrock. And that is the foundation that the wise man built on. You see, before Jesus develops anything in your life, he will first dig in your life. Because if he plants good seed in your heart, that's great. But if there's thorns in your heart of the cares of this life, if there's a shallow ground, it will be only a matter of time until it burns out, until it dies out, until that hope was only happiness for a Sunday morning service, until that good circumstance was only happy for you as long as you had that time, as long as you had the company of that friend was to bring you contentment in your heart. But God says, I want to give you a lasting joy. I want to give you a lasting love. I want to give you a firm foundation that when the tests come, when the test of time comes your way, when the test of trials comes away, you can stand firm. So therefore, I want to ask you, not only do you love God, but do you hate sin? Because what holiness declares is not only do I love my Lord, but I hate his enemy. Our God is holy, not because he loves his people, but also because he hates the devil. There's a balance, and I want to ask you, do you hate sin for the consequence of sin, or do you hate sin for the core of what it is? What God calls us to do is to hate sin so much that before we even ask God to add to our lives, we would want to say, God, search me and know me, try me and know my ways. I want to cut out the evil. I'm not just here to add your blessings onto my life. Sometimes the best way God can ever bless me is to first break me, because otherwise his blessing will only make me prideful, will only make me content in my sin. And therefore, I want to ask you, can you pray the dangerous prayer? Lord, I want your blessing. I want to grow, but if you need to break me first, do it. I want you that bad. Break me of my sin. Break me away from things that I need to get rid of in my life. And when you have that mentality of, Lord, it's not about my comfort, it's not about what feels good, it's about what is good, and what you say is good, that is where you will grow like never before. Push on, press on, dig deep, and let God break you, and then he will truly bless you forever. God bless you.